Mark. Mark. Action!
Trying to describe Zero Theorem is difficult. It's about a man who basically wants to escape from the noise of the world, just being hammered by ads, television, everything. And he's able to work at home in his burnt-out chapel, alone, escaping from all of this. And unfortunately, life intrudes. People come into his life. I think in a strange way, he discovers much more of his humanity in the course of the film.
The movie got green-lit when Christoph Waltz came on board. You know, Dean Zanuck and Nick Chartier, the producers on the movie, were kind of working with Terry on, you know, finding the right actor to play that part. And, you know, the idea came up for Christoph, and I think everybody really galvanized towards that idea.
My agreement with the producers was if Christoph and I could stand to work together for the next few months, then the film would be a go picture, and they were true to their word, and off we went.
I knew that it was coming from Terry Gilliam, so that kind of kindled my interest. And then I was intrigued by that story. The thing with the story is that it's a little cryptic. One really has to kind of do a little thinking and a little reading to get into it. I like that. I like the fact that I need to employ my faculties rather than have the story just sit on my lap.
All right, Quinn, how's it hanging?
It's Cohen, Mr. Joby, and as we've told you before, it isn't hanging at all well. We're dying.
Again, you should see the medics about that. I can't afford to lose you.
I play Joby in Zero Theorem, who is the supervisor of Quinn, or Cohen. I work for the management. I think the thing to be careful of with being in a Terry Gilliam film is that you don't come in doing a Terry Gilliam character or think that you should do something a little larger than life, and then you read the script and it's like, well, elements of it are larger than life, but it's, you know, you try to play it for real, but there are certain characters within Terry's films, obviously, who can afford to be a little more extravagant, and I think Joby's one of them.
Working hard, Bob, or only working?
Pays the same, Bob.
Well, don't mind me, Bob, I'm just getting Quinn started on the old Zipster.
That's a waste of time, Bob. I give him 2 weeks.
That's Bob, summer intern.
I play this sort of teenager named Bob, and he's this whiz kid, teenage genius, and he's sort of never really had a childhood. He's just always sort of grown up around technology. He's always been programming, and he's never really experienced a childhood, never really been around kids.
I'm Bainsley, and you are?
Cohen, Q, know you.
We had all these actresses who wanted to play Bainsley, and Irene Lamb, Terry's long-standing casting director, you know, put together a small casting, and she found Melanie Theory, who plays Bainsley, and Terry made a very quick decision on her. He thought she was fantastic.
I know Terry very well, and when I read the script, I said, oh my God, this is a very, it will be wonderful to design this kind of movie, and the opportunity to recreate this kind of world. I start to make some drawings, and I was in the wrong direction, because I thought that, for example, the cubicle and, you know, all the world of the mainframe, the people that were working there, they were, you know, kind of sad people like Cohen. And Terry immediately said, no, we have to create a kind of happy world where Cohen is the only one that is completely different from the others.
The set we're looking at behind of us was inspired by a giant blast furnace that Terry found on Google Earth. He saw this photo on Google Earth of this giant blast furnace in an old communist factory, and he said, I want that to be Mancom.
We actually went out to this site, and we're talking reasonably seriously about shooting there. And in the end, we decided it was too dangerous, frankly.
And it was a great looking building, but impossible to shoot in 2 hours away from the city. And it was like 45-foot diameter, concrete and iron tower with all these portholes in it, masses of structure, very, very dilapidated.
For me, it was important to escape from the normal visuals you see when you're talking about big computer systems, or all science fiction films all end up looking like the same thing. So the idea of taking sort of a 1950s blast furnace and turning it into a computer seemed a much more interesting approach.
Obviously at the moment we're all trying to make computers tiny, and little iPhones now that have got fantastic cameras in them and all this stuff, and we thought, what if in the future it all goes the other way and like size becomes really important and computers are maximal, they're big.
If I remember what was on the page that I wrote, I think I just had a big room with big, tall computer banks and so forth. Well, here's something that's just visually more interesting. About 10 years ago, I wrote a story and showed it to a friend of mine who was a little filmmaker in Houston, Texas, and he suggested that I turn it into a screenplay. And the next thing I know, I'm hearing from Dean and Harrison Zanuck saying it's the most original thing they've ever read, and now it's time to change it. Working with Terry Gilliam has been an absolute pleasure and a learning experience as well. I mean, he's a brilliant guy. It's not just he's interested in the art department, he's interested in all departments. He's interested in the engineering of filmmaking, of how stuff is done, whether you're special effects, wardrobe, hair and makeup, or set design. He's really, really into it.
I call him the wacky master. That's the joy of working with him, that you actually are being sort of propelled into a different realm of working anyway, but existing.
Já disponível no MEO VideoClube.